Streaming, OBS is green. YouTube is green. Twitch is green. Boom. Alert on Discord is out. Alright, all alerts are out. We are live. Welcome one and all to week 13 of season 10 of League 1 for your NCAA football action. Coming up tonight, we have number 1 Washington State at unranked Oregon State, and followed by unranked Penn State at number 20 Michigan State. So let's get started. We'll take a quick look at the Oregon State roster with the coach of Washington State, Coach Spectre.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try to make this quick because I'm ready to kick off. We've got John Washington, an 86 overall wide receiver, the only one showing up on Oregon State's injury report. We take them on in Corvallis, the home of the Beavers. And the last time we were up there, down there from Washington State, the last time we were down there, we took an L. So we are looking to get a little revenge this game. We're going to take them seriously despite their record. They've had a little bit of a rough time of it this year, but it is Oregon State. They're a regular bowl competitor. So we expect they'll have some good players. Mike Pendleton at quarterback, an 87 senior who's got pretty good awareness, not entirely mobile, and his throwing power and accuracy. Got a lot of accuracy at 93. So this is a guy who isn't going to set the world on fire, but definitely the type of player that you do not want to let get hot, because that accuracy will really come into play, and he'll be better than his rating is. An impact halfback, 90 yards a game rushing, so he's definitely the focal point of the offense. That is a halfback first team, I can tell you instantly. 20 yards a game receiving. That's going to be reflected probably by a quarterback with less than 3,000, well less than 3,000. 2,100 passing yards, only 230 a game with 20 touchdowns and 7. That's a good ratio of touchdowns to interceptions. So he has been able to get hot a few times. It's looking like the offense is not the problem with their record this year. A fullback who is not really that used. And he's the top receiver injured. So we got an 82, 81, 80. Junior, with a lot of speed, some good awareness. 40 yards a game, 42 yards a game. Not that much there at all. Only 2 catches on the year. So a 2 wide receiver set. That's probably going to mean an involved tight end. He's an 80 senior. And yes, he's very involved. 48 yards a game with 7 touchdowns. So this is an I formation or a 2 wide out in most sets, whether they're I or not. This is a traditional pro-style offense. We've got an 83, a 79, and then a 60. True freshman 60 is a gaping hole in the middle of their offensive line. He's protected by an 81 sophomore to his right and a 79 sophomore to his left. So those are some pretty good young linemen that are buffering him. But there is a chink in the armor in the middle. We'll see if we can get there. Defensively, I'm suspecting this is where the weakness of the team lies. We got a 78 and 81. That's not too bad at defensive end. 85, 82, not too bad on the D-line. 85, 84, and 79 senior at least. But senior laden, if not spectacular, certainly slightly above average linebacking core. But you'd like a little bit more there if you're going to be a player in the Pac-12. At cornerback, and free safety and strong safety. The secondary with that true freshman, 76, low awareness. That'll be useful. We'll try to take advantage of his youth, but we expect he'll be good in the future. And aside from that, nothing really spectacular on the defense. Nothing that really pops. So a rather unspectacular team, but one that doesn't possess a whole lot of weaknesses. They're just kind of bleh. So we're going to play. We're going to stick within our game plan, try not to turn the ball over. And for our part, Vincent Vega continuing his push to win his historic third consecutive Heisman Trophy. He's won the last 2 in a row. He's looking to break Archie Griffith's record and become the first player in real life or in League 1 to win 3 consecutive Heisman trophies. So rest assured, we'll try to get his numbers, but if it's late in the game, we may look to take him out if we've got a comfortable lead, because we do face off against our rivals next week, the Washington Huskies, also on the road. And following that, if we are able to get these 2 wins tonight and next week, we will play the user, Doc Jocular, in the Pac-12 championship game. So we've got 2 more harder hurdles to cross to get there. They're both on the road. They're both against rivals. And this one is a place that we've lost at before. So that's the scenario. We'll look to pull out a win by 5 or by 50, either way. I'm going to pass it back off to our broadcaster for the evening, Coach Ninja, the coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions, who you'll see in action following my game as they take on the number 20 Michigan State Spartans. But coming up next, the Pac-12.
Not many games left for the Washington State Cougars as they try to lock down an undefeated season and remain number 1 and get a berth to the national championship game. Only 2 undefeateds remaining, Washington State and Boise State in the Mountain West. Boise State with a much more generous strength of schedule, unlikely to have a hurdle as high as any of the teams, I should say, that Washington State is going to face in the next few weeks between these 2 remaining regular season games and then the Pac-12 title game, potentially against another user. As we can see, Washington State still number 1 in defensive points against, defensive yards against, and rushing defense. A very respectable number 19 against the pass. Looking over at Oregon State, their best attribute is clearly their defensive running game is very, very good. That makes up for the fact that their offensive running game is, that's very effective at 87. But really, they need their defense to perform as well as it does in order for their offensive points to be enough to win games. That's a serious differential there. Yeah. All right, and and they're definitely going to have a hard time against the number 3 point scoring defense in the country, 9th in the pass, almost 300 yards passing a game. All right. That is a recent injury, and Yates and Joyce are hot. Tony Montana not playing this game for Vincent Vega. Washington State clearly at the top of the Pac-12 North. Not really much anyone can do about it. Washington, the only real competitor needs help from Oregon State in order to be even in the discussion. Yeah, this is a division-clinching game ahead of the infamous Apple Cup in the week to follow.
Which we only won last year, 22-7.
There we go. Number 33, Vincent Vega. You can see him at the line directing traffic. You see at top of the screen there, the big game skill activator. That is a coaching perk that the veteran coach Spectre has earned. That gives him a little bit of a bonus in this game because it is a rivalry game. An interesting choice. You don't usually see it. Very few users or AI teams elect to receive the ball in the first half. Most defer, as most NFL coaches do these days. But an interesting choice there from Oregon, deciding they need to. Oregon State, they need to get off the blocks early while the momentum is even. You saw wide trips to the left there, and Jack London got through the line and just dived into the dirt and freaked out that Oregon State quarterback enough to make him throw wide into dirt out in the 3 yards downfield on the left. You see that speed there from Jack London to come around behind the guy, and that's a 7-yard gain for most teams, but he came around the side and caught up with the halfback running the option. Got to have a lot of speed to catch up with a halfback coming out of the backfield. 3-man front this time, very wide. Earth, Wind, and Fire comes through. And the sack means 3 and out. The election to take the ball for the first possession does not go well for Oregon State, as they take only about 40 seconds off the clock before they have to kick it from bad field position to the punt returning London of Washington State. Washington State catches it barely on his own side of the field, and he gets it just to the other side of the 50-yard line. A decent return on the punt. Usually it's, less than 10 yards, and it was about 8 or 9 there. But starting in Oregon State territory, a huge deal. Thank you, Leon. I'll bend it out. Is that better? And Vincent Vega, bit jumpy, throws it off, throws it very quick to the drag route on the middle slant, the traditional middle slant. Usually you see him waiting until that receiver is 3 or 4 yards more to the left. This time you see Vincent Vega scramble out to the left. A lot more speed than that right end of Oregon State allows him to gently run downfield and slide. Doesn't have to worry about getting out of bounds. Doesn't have to, it was a real easy scramble. Practically a planned quarterback run. The quarterback keeper gets 11 yards, and as you can see,
Vincent Vega, our man in Amsterdam.
is indeed the man. We have said many times, if Vincent Vega doesn't do it, it does not get done at Washington State. And he is everything behind this drive so far. And he throws it on the run into coverage, and it gets snatched. But Oregon State, bad field position to start off their own 4-yard line. Despite keying on the halfback and guessing left side, clearly seeing the blockers lined up on the left side of the offensive line, the momentum from that pick gets them out to the 17, 16-yard line. This time, though, he is stopped at the line of scrimmage thanks to the first man while he was shed. The second tackler came in and took him down. Another great tackle for loss. Parker taking some punishment on these early downs. Danny Glover showing he is not yet too old for this shit. Right where they want to be on 3rd and long. Second sack for Earth, Wind, and Fire. Once again, you saw a 3-man front from Washington State, and a 3-man front where the ends, the defensive ends, were both really wide to the outside of those guards. And cutting across his blocker, Earth, Wind, and Fire was really quick to get into that quarterback and take out his knees and send him spinning. As we now see Oregon State punt from their own end zone. Despite the pick, Oregon State clearly losing the battle of field position against Washington State. Yeah, I don't think any team's going to complain about starting from the opponent's 35-yard line. Hell, I wouldn't complain about starting from my own 35-yard line instead of my own 20. Vincent Vega sails another ball, throwing on the run. Makes it 2nd and 10.
I wanted to really test this big game skill. I've been pushing it on passes to see, what kind of effect it has. From the 34-yard line. 2nd down.
Vincent Vega waits for Ryan Leaf to break to the correct side of the defender before passing it when he knows the defender won't be able to get a hand in. Leaf is then able to fall forward for the first down. The left slot receiver got jammed, and Vincent Vega was indecisive and took the sack. 2nd and long now for Washington State. But with a gun and legs like Vincent Vega. Oh, but we have John McClain in. Interesting. John McClain, unable to throw it away, takes the sack. It is now 3rd and 29 and outside of field goal range as we check to see Vincent Vega's status. Vincent Vega bruised sternum. He is out for the game. We will see John McClain for the duration of this game, but thankfully Vincent Vega should be fine by next week. Big scare there for Washington State as they now face third and ridiculous. The 6-yard reception by the fullback Eric Estrada doesn't get first down, but potentially with a long leg, it could be field goal range. Let's take a look. The kick power of 98, Kendrick Lamar could be in range for the field goal from 36 yards. "53-yard field goal from the right hash." Don't forget your wind. "53-yarder is good.
Fight, fight, fight for Washington State. Win the victory. Win the day for Crimson and Gray. Best in the West, we know you'll all do your best. So on, fight till the end. Honor and glory you must win. So fight, fight, fight for Washington State and victory.
Everyone's all lined up and ready for the kickoff. He sends this one deep.
Yes, Squid do dilly. This is a dynasty. This is, we call it Season 10, but we switch from an offline dynasty to an online dynasty between Seasons 5 and 6. This is Coach Spectre's 5th season as the head coach of Washington State. I'm Coach Ninja. I'm providing play-by-play and will be playing the second of our doubleheader later this evening. We see the handoff to Parker, and once again he's hit for no gain by James Joyce and the very, very fast Washington State defense. Coach Spectre, a firm believer in the principle that on defense, speed kills. Jack London there, unable to get the sack as he dives for the legs of the quarterback, but does make him throw it in the dirt, make it 3rd and long, 3rd and 10, as we see a different package now defensively from Washington State. Oregon State so far, 2 3 and outs, 0 for 2. And that is the 3rd sack for Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I'm not actually playing the game. I'm providing the commentary while another coach plays, because we've got 7 coaches in this league. Providing commentary at the same time is a degree of difficulty we're not going to impose on only 2 of us. But I think it's certainly fair to say that over the past 5 seasons I have become a Washington State fan, as I've seen what Coach Spectre has done with them. When you join this league, everybody starts with a 1-star team, and when we started in Season 6 with the Online Dynasty and everybody had to pick a new 1-star team, he had the best record from the previous 5 years, so he got the right to pick whichever 1-star team he wanted, and the best one, the one he wanted, was Washington State. John McClain there with an excellent 9-yard run on the PA Power O.
Short yardage situation here. Second down and 1. The offense is trying to open this field up, coming out of a 5-wide set, and the defense.
And a wide pass there from John McClain on the drag route makes it 3rd and 1. Maybe, Jerome. I have no idea if you were here before or not.
It's third down. This offense is about 3 feet away from that first down mark.
This time, though, Paulie Shore gets a nice, gentle 6-yard run to get first down as we see the last few seconds of this game. It could be true. I mean, we've been streaming for 2 seasons now, and we've got a bunch of video on demand stuff that's on. Well, the last month of it is all on Twitch, so I wouldn't be surprised if you go hunting for NCAA streams. We're playing on Friday very frequently. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd come across us before. As we see John McClain throw it out of bounds and get the intentional grounding. We don't have a full 12-man dynasty, but we don't add people in the middle of the season, and we also, this is a league where we all knew each other going in, so we're not opposed to the idea of adding people from online if you're a regular and you follow us and we get to know you. It's certainly possible, but that's sort of how it. How it rolls. Yeah, we do play on Heisman. We do play with Jay Kitt's sliders from Operation Sports dialed up to 11. We play on hard mode. Oh, we do appreciate the interest. We just want to be upfront and say that it's not something where we can just pop somebody in at any time. Not to, just to be fair to everybody else. Congratulations for your national championship with Clemson Tigers. Good team there. And this time we're going to see a punt from Petey Pablo as that Oregon State defense is making Washington State work and giving them hell through the air. I'm not sure what you mean by custom playbook problem, Leon. We had that problem. We don't really have that problem anymore now that we're all on different consoles. Oh, yes. I know the custom playbook problem. Yes, we solved that. I created an Xbox Live account, spent $6 for 1 month, and we were fine. Jerome, I will tell you that Maryland is a very good team. They start the first season rated as a 3-star. As a 2-star, but they really should be a 3-star. They're an excellent team to start with. As for Navy, I'm a big fan of Navy. I've said to a number of other people in the league that if I had to be somewhere else that wasn't Penn State, my number one choice would be Navy. Excellent defensive stand there. As I talked about other things, it is now 3rd and very long for Washington State. Pendleton holds onto it for a long time, but you see on that play there, while the Oregon State receiver had speed, what he didn't have was hands. We know that he's only an 82 to 80, and he's got a lot of speeds. What they don't have great hands, and that was how he dropped that there. So another good field position start. See if John McClain can get anything done for Washington State. So I'm sitting I'm sitting on the couch next to Coach Spectre as he plays. So I'm doing this live. Yeah, this is live. It's just a 2-man show. If you'd like to see previous games, the previous month worth of games are all on VOD on Twitch. Those are pre-recorded. And a fantastic pick there as the defender comes in, but a great tackle by the offensive lineman in order to turn that into not a pick six. Oregon State really giving Washington State a lot of trouble through the air, jumping that route. Oregon State's best field position of the game as they break out an I with tight end on the left. Bringing somebody in motion. Once again, they hand it off to Parker, who loses yards. Allen Ginsberg there on the tackle for loss. As good as this Oregon State defensive front is playing, the offense is having just as much trouble. Although they finally make a 15-yard reception there to Timmy Wesley for first down. Go for it, Jerome. Sorry. Sorry. I assumed that you had a question about zone or man coverage. I think you'll see both Washington State and later Penn State mix it up. We play both. We both play a lot of man first. I play less this year as I have a new defensive playbook this year. I had to learn the 3-3-5 for personnel reasons. But I think Washington State starts from the premise of a lot of pressure, a lot of blitz, and man coverage, and then bringing in zone when appropriate, and, depending on the down and the distance. But Washington State definitely, I think, a man coverage first team. And they recruit for man coverage for a reason. Zone isn't bad in 14. I've learned to use zone as I've worked on my playbook this season. But it's definitely something where, more so than man, with zone, you're pretty much always picking 1/9 of the field to say, I'm going to give them this and this down. It's like, if you think about it, past the line of scrimmage, 9 sections like a tic-tac-toe board, you're always giving up one of them when you play zone coverage. So if you play the same zone every time and give up the same square on the board every time, they're going to read that and you're going to be screwed. But if you give up a different section of the board each time, you vary it up enough that they can't reliably know where you've hidden the gap, zone is going to be very effective. And zone is going to be better against humans than it is against the AI for that reason. So it also depends who you play. It's also you'll see when we start the next game, I'm going to do a quick run through of and look at the other team's roster, and you can tell based on which receivers, if their third and fourth receivers get a lot of yardage, you know that they throw to the slot receivers. If the tight end gets a lot of yardage, you know something. If the number one receivers average per reception is very high, you know something, and okay, I can't afford to give up these gaps this game because they like those gaps. I'm going to make sure those are always covered because their number one receiver is the tight end, or their number one receiver has an average of 20 plus yards, so they long ball him. As an excellent 6-yard rush by Pauly Shore there, the run game working for Washington State. The pass, not as much. Another good run there from Pauly Shore. Any run up the gut that's more than 3 yards is definitely a win, especially on an early down. You can see Pauly Shore there with a 3.5 yard average. Great production as we begin to see the clock tick down on the first half. Ernst Blofeld on the drag, catches it in the right flat, can't escape 2 defenders, and goes down for 11 yards. But a great pass to a new section of the field. I was talking about sections of the field earlier. That was a mix it up and throwing to a new part of the field for Washington State. And again, Jason Voorhees to another part of the field, outruns the defender, has the speed to get that big play. Yeah, a great throw to a wide open slant route. As you can see, that was a case where they were in man coverage, and that slant against man coverage is deadly. Flushed out of the pocket, McLean gets the touchdown. That is Jason Voorhees there. He got that 40-yard pass on the slant and then caught the play-action pass, dragging both feet down for the NFL catch.
Which we set up with 3 runs up.
Yeah, well set up there with a lot of running up the gut by Pauly Shore. That PA Power O on this level of difficulty, it's a play I love dearly. But if you don't set it up with runs up the gut, it's not going to work. It was well set up there, despite the fact that the coverage was good. But also, looking at the clock, most coaches wouldn't necessarily call an I formation run up the gut, expect to get 3 yards with a tie game with 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. That's not a call you're going to see most of the time unless it's something, okay, we need to do this now and understand we're not going to get a huge amount of production, but it's going to make other things available later. Washington State, you can see him manually moving the defender there, perfectly happy to give the 3 yards and force Oregon State to burn the timeout. rather than let them blow the gates wide open on a long pass.
London.
And London is through for another sack.
London calling to the zombies of death. Quit holding out and draw another breath. London calling.
A ton of sacks in this game. 5 for Washington State. I think 3, maybe even 4 for Oregon State. A true defensive battle with a minute and 24 and counting left in the second quarter. You see, oh no, a motion to the right. It is now two wide receivers on the right and on the left and one on the right. So they let that clock move down. Oh, and another guy on the sideline, I believe. Yeah, 4 wide receivers. Close on the left, spread on the right. As the pass, the about 12-yard pass bounces off the hands, all speed, no hands again for that Oregon State offense. Those wide receivers. 55 seconds left. 2 timeouts. We'll see what kind of field position Washington State starts with. Not able to get across midfield. It starts on their own 45-yard line with 46 seconds and 2 timeouts. And Vincent Vega, the man who could do this in one play if he wanted to, is out for the game with a bruised sternum. We will see what John McClain can do. Scrambles out of the pocket and shorts it.
He can't throw it around Vega, can he?
Unlike Vincent Vega, John McClain does not have the ability to throw on the run. Vincent Vega, famous for not needing to set his feet nearly as much as anybody else. John McClain, that is not true. John McClain, he's a real human. He's a human being. Yeah. Kaisan there for 8 yards. It is also worth noting, as the clock ticks down to 30 seconds, that another difference between John McClain and Vincent Vega is that John McClain is a true quarterback, whereas Vincent Vega is a converted athlete. And that does make a difference as Hannibal Lecter catches it in tight coverage on the slant route, because we could see that defender was actually biting more on the drag route coming across, but he could have gotten a hand in if he really felt like he saw it quick enough. But John McClain, this time to Ryan Leaf, 18 yards out of bounds, 9 seconds left to go, 2 timeouts on, I'm not sure which yard line. 12, yeah, 15, 12, 15-yard line. 15-yard line, 9 seconds. But looking at that lineup, that's a lot of yellow guys, especially for Washington State. Including Yates, the star center, on the middle of the
Basketball move. See what the coverage they give us and call timeout.
Coach Spectre showing why in the winter he's the coach of of Washington State's JV basketball team, with coming out, getting lined up, seeing what coverage the other guys line up in, and calling timeout, calling something else, making a second guess. As we now see a 4-man front. And a great timing to RB, 15 yards to Ernst Blofeld.
By the power of Grayskull.
the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
It is worth talking about that touchdown for a second because that route, RB on the Xbox controller, is the third look for Coach Spectre's progression on that play, and that's a rare pass to make, especially when you don't extend the play by moving in the pocket or scrambling. But because it was 15 yards, when the slot receiver cut in and did the double move, the safety and the linebacker in the middle both moved laterally to the left side of the field and bid on that and opened up and were out of position to play not a lob angle, but a really, pretty flat trajectory there for the pass to Ernst Blofeld. As Parker there runs for 50 yards, his most productive run of the game in garbage time, with the secure tackle there, letting him get a few more yards downfield. He will be warmed up for the second half, but that's not worth points. It will inflate his average. They'll continue to go to Parker because he's now going to be fairly warmer than any of their receivers who, seem to have, hands made out of steel. Yeah. So they've had more than 2 drops. But yeah, a lot of drops from Oregon State, but a lot of sacks for both teams, and early. Before Vincent Vega got warmed up, and before John McClain got warmed up after Vincent Vega got hurt, a lot of wide passes for Washington State, but a fantastic limitation of Oregon State to only 14 yards passing and 31 yards rushing in one half. As Washington State now starts with the ball in the third quarter, up 17-3. As you can see, Jack London there catching the kick return. He truly does everything, as we now have a little bit of a glitch and we cannot see the scoreboard. So in an effort to help out our coach, I'm going to talk a little less. Oh, you can fix it by going to... I did not know that. That is a useful thing to know. Anybody watching, if you run into that problem, this is a problem that does happen in this game, you can get the scoreboard to disappear. Now, luckily, when the shot clock gets to red, you can't hear it. When it gets to 5, I think. John McClain, not the scrambler that Vincent Vega is, but definitely outrunning the defensive end there and outmaneuvering him as well. But yeah, that's a great thing to know, that you can go to instant replay to fix a disappeared, the disappeared scoreboard. Yeah, that's a scoreboard, and the thing underneath would be the crawl. So. Pauly Shore following his blocker and then cutting outside to get first down. Another great run out of the eye in the bank for Washington State, using it to set up things for later on, as we've talked about. Another great pass on that drag route for Jason Voorhees. First down and on the Oregon State side of the field now for Washington State. Pauly Shore averaging 4 yards on 6 carries. Ryan Leaf smartly manages to come to a complete stop a yard short of going out of bounds, and then runs up, does a 270 and runs upfield to get the first down. Excellent juke move right behind his blocker. Looks like he's going right. Jukes to the left. 8 yards of magic for Pauly Shore there. Behind a fantastic center of Yates. A little bit off target, but Jason Voorhees leaps for it and makes the catch thanks to the user. Gets that first down. 19 yards between Washington State and points.
From the 19-yard line. First down.
Oregon State clearly reading the quarterback there and biting on the quarterback. No gain on the motion option.
So it's 2nd and 10. Ball on the 20.
Ryan Leaf there catches the howitzer shot, drops over his head into a basket, and runs upfield for first and goal from the 8.
It's first down, and they'll be looking for 6 points here.
John McClain keeps it on the option, gets a 4-yard rush. He's got a 2.4 yard average on 7 rushes and a healthy 13 for 17 passing. Most of those incompletions in his first drive on the field in the middle of the first quarter after Vincent Vega got hurt.
It's 2nd and goal. Ball on the 5. So an empty backfield with 5 wide receivers.
Incomplete there for John McClain.
This is the 12th play of this drive. Scrambling around. And he's going to run this one.
John McClain, he's not that fast, but he's more maneuverable than that right end, and he runs it in for a touchdown.
That's a great job with some tough running right there. When you get close to the end zone, things get very tight. It's tough to maneuver.
Washington State up by 21 points. Oregon State is now going to be looking to their 2-minute drill playbook probably for the duration as we see somebody jumping up on the line. Offense, as we see number 2 Boise State does not lose to New Mexico. They will remain undefeated in the Mountain West. Excuse me. Berg gets a 13-yard reception, but it's not enough. It's second and short, but Pendleton only 4 for 8 so far this game. They're not trying to pass a lot yet, but they're probably going to have to now. There's the tackle for loss there on Carpenter. Makes it 3rd and 2 from Danny Glover. 5 tackles, 4 of them for loss. Spreading out the wide receivers to the left this time. The rush gets the sack. Deep in their own territory on 4th and 5. It is no surprise when Oregon State punts. Jack London, only a 5-yard return, gets to about the 42-yard line of Washington State's side of the field. The average starting field position, 37, not as good as I thought, but still, excellent field position. You're not going to say, I said earlier, I wouldn't say no to 35-yard line. My own. This is clearly the worst field position of the entire game. No, it's not. You ran one out and only got to the 18-yard line once. But an excellent field position all game. Easy pass to Shore, running. Was he out of the backfield or was he lined up on the? He was in a flex bone. Okay, that was a flex bone. Real gentle pass. Makes it 2nd and 3. Pauly Shore, season opening, realizes he can get a lot more than first down and runs to the gap in the right. And they are now on Oregon State's side of the field. 45 seconds left to go in the third. Up by 21 points.
On the 46-yard line. It's first down.
Hand off to Rickman there. Slides up the gut. Not usually the move that Washington State makes on that play. They like that play a lot, but traditionally with Vega in the game, that's a quarterback keeper. But this time the handoff to Rickman gets 8 yards. Looks like we might see one more play before the end of the quarter. And it's a quick drag to Voorhees. He gets first down and does his trademark pirouette to keep the ball in his hands while he gets tackled. Turn that hit from linear momentum into angular momentum and not knock the ball loose. Voorhees, an engineering student and NCAA All-American in men's gymnastics, knows exactly what a spin will do in any way you can ask about it. John McClain, without the legs of Vincent Vega, has to have smart feet in order to make the defensive tackle miss. If he hadn't made that half step right then left, he would have been shoestring tackled there. John McClain taking a page out of Jason Voorhees' book and uses the spin move to get a couple extra yards, make it every coach's first down and distance, 2nd and 1.
Second down now. They're just a few feet away from that first down. Toss across the middle and bring him down the 7-yard line.
Jason Voorhees again a catch into spin yards after the first down. 7 yards, 1st and goal. 6 minutes to go in the game, up by 3 scores. John McClain clearly now in the driver's seat. I think he found the machine gun. Makes the safe pass to Eric Estrada, who cannot escape the defender, and gets hit for a loss of 1 yard. Not wanting to bring in Tony Montana, who is an absolute statue, pigeon shit on his shoulders, and in no desperation here, with 5 minutes and 26 seconds left to go in the game, Washington State's going to take their time and let John McClain smoke a few European cigarettes and catch his breath. And Pauly Shore gets the negative yardage back and more, running up the gut, 3rd and goal from the 3. Pauly Shore with the 3-yard run.
By the power of Grayskull. Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
Oregon State starting once again on their own 20-yard line. 4 minutes and 33 seconds left to go in the game, behind by 28 points. They've got to find something.
The only time they got points was when they started on my 35.
An excellent defensive performance from Washington State.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Not there in time to prevent the pass getting off or the reception, but at 2nd and 2 miles, the reception only makes it 3rd and 1 mile. No surprise there from Coach Stradamus, as it suggests to expect the shotgun pass, which bounces off Jack Kerouac's hands. It's 4th and 9 under the 4-minute, but behind their own 25-yard line. Oregon State isn't going to risk it. And they elect not to risk the return either. But look at that total yardage, 318 to 56. First downs, 19 to 3. This is a dominant defensive performance, and the second half offense of Washington State has been great. It took a long time to warm up, because just as Vincent Vega was warming up on the offensive side of the ball, he got hurt. John McClain had to come in, and they had to spend another whole quarter warming up John McClain, who sets his legs and throws over the defender to Hannibal Lecter into a tiny window that could probably only fit a fava bean. But it puts Washington State on Oregon State's side of the field with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. And really, at this point, Washington State doing everything that they want to do. Oh, you want to have a drag route to Voorhees go for 14 yards, breaking 3 tackles? Yeah, we'll do that. That's great. Yeah, sure. You want to have all the time in the world that you want in the pocket for Voorhees to break the defender 20 yards downfield? Yeah, sure. Why not? All the momentum in the world for Washington State now, despite 2 picks. Not seeing anybody he liked and not liking anything he saw, John McClain just throws it out of bounds. Lucky to have time to get it off and not get the intentional grounding by heading it out the back end of the end zone over a bunch of defenders and a receiver. Pauly Shore, again, working the stutter step for 5 yards. Makes it 3rd and goal from the 5. But 2 minutes left in the go. Washington State's just looking to close out this game, keeping Oregon State to a measly 3 points. John McClain keeps it on the scramble, gets 3 yards. It is now 4th and goal from the 2. But the clock is moving, and it's under the 2-minute mark. An easy kick there. I was thinking as he lined that up, I would almost take the delay of game in that situation in order to get a bit further back and not have as sharp an angle to adjust, get all the seconds off the clock, not risk. No, I'm not nearly as good a kicker as Coach Spectre is. An angle that sharp, that close, I have a real danger of shanking it. So if that had been me, I would have taken that penalty. But
Another reason for Tom.
Coach doesn't shank like I do.
Fight, fight, fight for Washington State. Win the victory. Win the day for crimson and gray. Best in the West, we know you'll all do your best. So on, fight till the end. Honor and glory you must win. So fight, fight, fight for Washington State and victory.
With two tight ends here for Oregon State, this really doesn't look like a heavy passing formation. Yeah, they're throwing it laterally to Parker for negative yardage. Got rocked, both of them. The quarterback and the halfback got rocked on that, and they're just trying not to lose any bones to Washington State. I'm astonished they called a timeout there. Absolutely astonished. They were not calling plays to be aggressive to try and get points. They could have easily let the game be over. As again, they throw it to Parker for -7. It is 3rd and 21. And now they break out 3 wide receivers at 3rd and a mile. Great read of the screen there. You could see the user-controlled player, Earth, Wind, and Fire, was cutting in to get off his block and go for the sack, but turned around when he realized all the offensive linemen were headed to the right side of the field on a screen. And Jack London there muffs the punt when Perry gets so close, and luckily Perry gets the ball. You can see what Washington State's going to do on their own 48-yard line with 45 seconds left to go in this ridiculous game. Again, seeing why he is a primo ballerina, Jason Voorhees loses 2 defenders with the pirouette. Voorhees doesn't get first downs, but he gets the catch as Washington State continues to grind salt. And this time, McLean just throws it away. It's now 3rd and 2nd, 11 seconds left in the game. And Jason Voorhees ties the school record receptions in a game as he catches that one as the clock ticks down. Have to go with the quick kick. There you saw a primo special teams unit get on the field. We've seen this in the NFL. We've seen. Oh shoot, I can't remember who it was. There was a team this year that had 15 seconds to kick a game-winning field goal and couldn't get everybody set up. And then I know the Pats did it with 7 seconds. although that wasn't for a win, I don't think. But yeah, no, you got to be a good on the ball team. Everybody's got to be ready to get on there. A fantastic game there, especially after having to go through the process of warming up 2 quarterbacks. After losing Vincent Vega, John McClain becomes the player of the game. Tough situation coming in with about a minute left in the first quarter on the road against a rival, but a great job from the defense gave John McClain the time to warm up. So thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick break to change a hard drive and get some beers, and we'll be right back with Penn State at Michigan State in just a few. An absolute dominant performance beginning about 2 minutes into the second quarter from Washington State. Defense always dominant throughout the whole game.